Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. This particular presentation, we do not, brothers and sisters, intend for this to be long under any account for many reasons. Brothers and sisters, this is regarding the Hebrew that we see in the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 25. The goal in this is to get the people, brothers and sisters, to get into the language. We ask you all to subscribe to the channel. We ask you all to comment, like, and share the content, brothers and sisters. We do not claim to know everything, and we are open to constructive criticism. I want to, on a human level, give a shout out to my lady Sarai, and I want to give a shout out to my Hebrew teachers. They who have passed away, may they rest in peace. Adon Aharon, More Tibak, More Hoshea, More Mishael. To my Hebrew teachers who are among the living, Kohen Mikael, Gaveret Miriam, Gaveret Tamikia, and others, brothers and sisters. I will be one to tell you to pick your Hebrew teacher, brothers and sisters. Every teacher is not for everybody. So, with that said, we hope everybody is well. We hope, brothers and sisters, that you all like the video. We do not intend for it to be longer than a half hour. It is 12 slides, brothers and sisters. And let us get into this particular matter, if we will, for edification purposes. Genesis chapter 10, verse 25, from the Hebrew translation to English. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. The presentation presented to you all is based on the Hebrew found in Genesis 10, verse 25. We will, in this, discuss the matter of prefixes, suffixes, passive, and past tense verbs and nouns in possession. So we ask you all to get your pens, your pads, your paper, take notes, ask questions. And brothers and sisters, I can be reached at the number that you see there on the bottom, 908-587-4841. The Hebrew that you see there, brothers and sisters, right, with the laser pointer, More Yeshaya. Welcome to the channel, More Yeshaya Torah lessons and More Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. We ask you all to join the presentation and add to it in making comments and asking questions. I am open to constructive criticism. I can be reached at 908-587-4841. What you're seeing, brothers and sisters, on the right-hand side is a book that I wrote back in the year 2020. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 3. We want to show with the laser pointer, Hakwal, Quobel, Quelut, Hakwal. You might be able to see the letter Kuf is used there quite often. The voice cries out the easiness of the qual. Shout out to the brother Chief Naftali Bendan, who made that cover. So, brothers and sisters, let us go on into this particular matter. All right. Introduction and rules on grammar explained. There are 14 words in this verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. Now, there are 6 nouns, 2 verbs, 2 adjectives. Obviously, as you can see, 6, 2, and 2 gives you what, 10. I didn't go into all of them in that particular case, but I just wanted to show the nouns, verbs, and adjectives in this particular matter. And we're going to go over it for edification purposes. Again, we ask you all to take notes, ask questions, subscribe to the channel, and let us move on in this particular case. And unto Eber and Eber. Now, let's look. Ul Eber. Ul Eber. Now, what you're looking at there in the Hebrew, remembering that Hebrew is read from right to left. You got the wow, and then you got the lamed with the shawah. So I want to, brothers and sisters, circle the shawah that we are speaking of. Now, when you get the Hebrew book, Hebrew is Easy Volume 1, which I suggest people get. And thank you to people who have bought it. Thank you for the patronage. In that book, I describe the vowels in detail. What happens when you see what you're looking at right there, and we want to circle this yet again, the vowel that you see under the lamed is called a shawah. What happens quickly with that is you join that to the sound that precedes it. So you just say ul, knowing that the vowel there with the vowel what's inside of it makes the u sound. You just say ul, and then you keep on reading the rest of the word. The word that continues that we see is eber, and we see it also here now being circled, brothers and sisters, with the highlighter in that particular case. All right, so this is something we want to point out for reference purposes. All right, let us continue, brothers and sisters, with the next part. The pu'al matter. The word we see here, brothers and sisters, we want to show, all right, with the laser pointer, lad. That vowel under the yod is referred to as a korbut, and it makes the u sound. Now over here, brothers and sisters, this makes the u sound as well. This is why, and I say this in no disrespect, personally, I do not teach grammatia in Hebrew, because whether it has the wow with the u sound in it, all right, or whether it has a letter with the u sound underneath it, the meaning of the word is still the same. But now with grammatia, and I'm not trying to get sidetracked from the presentation, what happens is each of these letters hold a particular number value. All right. And so in that particular case, we just want this to be known that it would change the numerical value in that case. So I don't really teach Hebrew lettering, making particular numbers in that particular case, if we will. All right. So this is the word yulad. This is a pu'al verb stem, the 4th of the 7 stems regarding verbs. Now, in this book right here, brothers and sisters, the Qual, this book that you can get online, I do not go into the pu'al stem. The book that is dedicated for that has not been written yet. All right. The pu'al serves as the passive to the PL. All right. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters, in this manner. Sorry about that. Yulad was born unto. All right. If you just were to take, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes, looking at it with the pen, the yod, then the lamed, then the dalet. and not have it said in verb form, you will have the word yalad. That will be also known in certain cases as yaled. Yaled means child. All right. So this is something we want to point out for edification purposes. All right. Any questions? Please feel free to ask it within the chat. Here we see Shanae Banim, 2 sons. In the matter of the word Shanae, it means 2 in the construct state. This means it is a definite matter, that which is not just open. So now, you have numbers that are stated in the absolute state and then in the construct state. And in this particular case, what happens is you're saying Shanae Banim, which means literally 2 sons. And then when you go in your own time in Genesis 10, verse 25, those 2 sons are known. So what we're teaching in part on this, brothers and sisters, is biblical Hebrew. All right. On the channel that you're following, hopefully. All right. Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons going all the way back to 2018. We started with Aleph, Bet, Gemel, Dalet. Aleph, Bet, Gemel, Dalet. And then going over by lesson number 6, going over the matter of the vowels. All right. Now, having passed lesson 53, which was based on the Hipa'el stem, we now want to focus on biblical Hebrew. Now, biblical Hebrew is one of the oldest Hebrews that we today have for ourselves. All right, next slide. Shem HaEchad, the one's name. The letter Hey is there to show the one. Now, we're going to circle with the pen here the letter Hey. And we want to, brothers and sisters, show here with the highlighter the letter Echad. Echad means 1. All right, that is like the number as well. Now, Shem, as we've gone over regarding the translation of the names in Genesis chapter 5, Shem means name, fame, or renown. So now, Shem, the son of Noah, that's how you spell his name that you see here. But the meaning of it is name, fame, or renown. So let's go back here, brothers and sisters, and we want to go back to the laser pointer. It says the letter Hey is there to show the one. The letter Hey shown there circled in the red, brothers and sisters, right? In that particular case, is there meaning the word the in that manner. In English, it is more sensible to say the name of. All right. So in Genesis 10:25, in your own time, when it says the name of the one's name, this is the Hebrew for that in that case. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a picture of me while I was in Egypt. All right. Me and my lady Sarai went out to Egypt last year, and she actually took these pictures. All right. I actually still got that strap bag, but that's sidebar. Okay. So these books here, Egypt Talking Writing, did the Torah come from the Kodesh Tameri, as well as Deuteronomy 28:15-68, the condition of the blacks, as well as the book From Avaris to Alabama. These 3 books you can get on Amazon for $12 each. All right. So I just want that to be known and shown. Again, I can be reached at the number shown on the bottom there at 908-587-4841. All right. There is Hebrew in each of those books. All right. Especially the one called From Avaris to Alabama. All right. So we want to get our studying on in that particular case. Next part. Now, the crux of the lesson before we close out. Peleg. The word Peleg is a noun meaning division. In the verb form, it is peleg, the PL stem, meaning to divide or to exaggerate. Now, this word that you see here starts, we want to show with the laser pointer, right? The pay with the segol, the lamed with the segol with the gamel. Remembering that Hebrew is read from right to left. Also remembering that most Hebrew words are just simply 3 letters. You got some that are 2 letters, some that are even as much as 6 letters, but most Hebrew words are simply 3 letters. All right. So now, here we see on the right-hand side, niflaga. The word niflaga, all right, or niplaga, whether you have the F or the P, is a nifal word meaning to be divided. So let's look. You got peleg meaning division, and then you got niflaga, brothers and sisters. And what that means in the nifal stem means to be divided. Now, the nifal stem, all right, serves as the passive to, brothers and sisters, the qual stem. Going back here, if you will. All right. This book right here, The Voice Cries Out the Easiness of the Qual. I would suggest anyone who is interested in Hebrew verbs to get that book there. That book, nonetheless, does not get into the nifal stem. All right. So the word niflaga is a nifal word meaning to be divided. Now, in the nifal stem, we want to circle this, brothers and sisters, with the pen, right? It begins 100% of the time with the letter noon. The noon there serves as a prefix. For whatever reason, the letter noon is my favorite letter. All right. But my point, nonetheless, in pointing this out, is that the nifal serves as the passive to the qual. The qual is active and the nifal is passive. So what are we saying by that? If I take my hand and I am holding a book, my hand is active. The book is passive. Again, how do we know what passive and active is? Is like this, the qual being active. If I am holding a book, my hand is active. If, on the other hand, the book is being held, the book is passive. So that's what we want to point out in that case. All right, next slide. Now, Niflaga ha-aretz. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 6, Conversations Among Family. The lady that you see there on the cover, may she rest in peace, is my mother. All right. Now, let's look. We have here, we want to point out that the word aretz, earth, is a feminine word. Thus, the verb showing the action of such, it is in the feminine. All right. For anybody in the chat who is able to hear, and if you're feeling well, please give me a 4. All right. Anybody in the chat who is able to hear me and who is feeling well, please give me a 4. All right. For edification purposes. Here we see this, brothers and sisters. All right. Shalom Elgin Barrow. Niflaga ha-aretz. Let's show this with the laser pointer. Right? The noon serving as a prefix. You still have, brothers and sisters, the fe or pay, the lamed, and the gamel. Peleg, palag. This noon, we want to circle what we're talking about when we say noon here. All right, but we want to circle it. Yeah, we'll keep it with the red there. Right? And what you're seeing there, brothers and sisters, with that noon is serving as a prefix inside of his nifal stem. Now let's look. Because this word here, ha'aretz, ha meaning the, aretz meaning earth. Because the earth in Hebraic culture is understood as a feminine thing, when we see that, we want to point this out, if we will, in the different color, in blue. All right. you're going to see, brothers and sisters, the gamel or whatever is the last letter of such having a ah sound from the kwamas. The letter hey, we want to show this inside of a different color. All right. The letter hey you see there being circled. And I'm going to erase all of this for clarity. All right. The letter hey you see there being circled, brothers and sisters, is a feminine letter. The letter hey and tau are feminine letters. All right. Niflaga. It was divided. What was divided? Haaretz, the earth. But because earth in Hebraic thought again is a feminine matter, you don't say nif lag, you say nif laga or niflaga. That's where we want to point out in that particular case, because this is part of the grammar that we want to emphasize on. Next part. All right. Let's look. Ki bayamayu. For in his days, the word for day is yom. And we want to, brothers and sisters, point this out with the laser pointer. For in his days, the word for day is yom. The word for days is yamim. The word, pardon me, the yod and the waw we see in yamayu, which is the word here, serves as a suffix. So what are we talking about with the yod and the waw? We're going to, brothers and sisters, I want to show it like this if I can, all right? Let's look at this, brothers and sisters. All right. I like to show it in real time as much as possible. How's everybody doing? So here you have, brothers and sisters, the word yamaiwa. This word means his days. And we're going to show how you get that Iowa sound in this and say real time, brothers and sisters. We want to all right, show it with that manner. Nah, not that way. Sorry about that, family. All right. We're going to enlarge it and then make a move from there. Now, let's go back with the slideshow. Thank you for that, family. And we want to show with the laser pointer what we're talking about. This yod and wow, we want to circle it. This is how you get the Iowa sound. This mem has a kwamat, which makes the ah sound. This yod attached, or the yod next to it, should I say, causes this kwamat to make the I sound, as in I see. Now it ends with the letter wow, so it's Iowa, Iowa. So that's what we want to point out. His and then plural in that case. If there's any questions, let me know. Next slide. Nouns in possession. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 4. The explanation of the nouns. This is a book you can get on Amazon. Let's look. You have, brothers and sisters, All right. And we want to show this, the laser pointer. Hand, yad. His hands, yadaiwa. Shoe, na'al. His shoes, na'alaiwa. Book, sefer. His books, sefaraiwa. So what are we saying, brothers and sisters? When we have any noun, and then you got that yod and that wow ending, that serves as a suffix. And it makes whatever noun it is, be it hand, shoe, or book, it makes it plural and in masculine matter. Whatever the particular noun is. If the noun is by default a feminine noun, for instance, the word koma means wall, like the wall in your house, W-A-L-L. So you would say komotaiwa, which means his walls. All right. So just want to point that out in that particular case. And that is described in that book there, which you can get online. Hebrew is Easy, Volume 4. Next slide. The matter of Ak was Shem Akil in the name of his brother. The Hebrew word for brother is Ak, and there is no correct English spelling for it because it's not an English word. All right. This too is how we know we do not teach Yiddish, and that the Yiddish word for brother is brudar. I want to point that out. All right. So let's look at this here. The matter of Ak. You have here, and I wanted to use this in real time, if you will, right? And we're going to go about it like this with the time allotted. All right. And this means brother. Here we have Aki, my brother. Here we have, brothers and sisters, Akika, your brother. How about that? Here we have Akik, your brother. If you were speaking to a female. Here we have Akiu, his brother. And here we have her brother. All right. So just want to show that for reference purposes. So, brothers and sisters, Hebrew is easy, as the books denote that a brother has written. Glory to the Most High. So, what do we want to point out with this? Is nouns in possession. Now, when I say possession, I'm saying his, hers, theirs, and so forth. All right. So now let us look, if we will. You have here, brothers and sisters, Ak, brother. Achi, my brother. Akika, your brother. When speaking to M stands for male. Akik, your brother when speaking to a female. Akiu, his brother. Akiha, her brother. So this is something we want to point out for reference purposes. All right. Again, this is something we want to point out for reference purposes. Shalom, Eldrin Barrow. Shalom, Iman Tamikia. Shalom, Uziel Yisrael. All right. So now let's look at this. So you could say my brother, his brother, her brother. And you'll be surprised with just these little kind of vocabulary words, you'll be able to sit there and build a sentence. I want to advise anyone. Best way to learn Hebrew, learn the vocabulary that you use all the time. So whatever you mostly talk about in English, if you want to learn Hebrew, learn those English words in Hebrew. And your vocabulary will be very, very high. All right. So if I can be heard and if everybody is feeling well, please give me a 4. Thank you. If I can be heard, and if everybody is well, please give me a 4. All right. Care to support and the word Yakutan. If one cares to support, one can donate at Cash App, $ Frank Son 1, $ FRANKSSON, the number 1, or PayPal. The telephone number regarding that is 908-587-4841. One can also help by doing the following: buying the books from Amazon, sharing the link to family and friends. And yes, we ask you all to subscribe to the channel. Yaktan. This word means small from the root word kwatan, meaning to be small. So it was, brothers and sisters, as we close out, the intention of this presentation to bring this out to the people, if we will. Giving a shout out to the sister who made this flyer, the sister Fab Aim. And I suggest, as pointed out even in the books that I wrote, that if you want good quality work, that's a very good source to go to in that case. November 1st, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Genesis chapter 10, verse 25, translated from Hebrew to English. Learn how to identify the prefix, suffix, passive, and the possession of nouns. That's why we went over aki, akika, akik, akiu, akiha. The noun in that word is the word ak, which means brother. The possessive matter is mine, yours, his, hers. All right? YouTube channels, we ask you to subscribe to the channels. More Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, More Yeshaya Torah lessons. All right? So we hope you all learned from this. We hope everybody enjoyed themselves. And I'm going to, brothers and sisters, ask you all to subscribe and hit the bell. So when we go over this, we intend to go at least one verse a month within the Hebrew language. All right? I can be reached again at 908-587-4841. Shalom. Most High bless. Thank you for everyone who has commented, and thank you for everyone who helped make this presentation a success. Have a good evening. Shalom.